Quinn with the Orange County Library System here at the West Oaks branch in Ocoee, Florida. Today's date is April 2nd, 2013, and we're capturing memories from our community. Can you please tell us your name and where you're from?
My name is Bob Goetz and I'm from Ocoee.
And how did you come to live in the area?
My dad retired from the military and came to Central Florida. We originally started in Castleberry, and at the time this was right about the same time that Disney was announced in the area.
What year?
69, somewhere in that area. Yeah. And a lot of the roads that are now 3- and 4-lane highways were 2-lane roads back then. A real nice place to be back then. Like I said, this was Castleberry. Unfortunately, it didn't stay that way because of all the people that moved down here. And Winter Park was really nice due to the fact that it kept all of its tree lines. Certain areas of the county were just cutting trees down left and right to put homes in. And Ocoee didn't do that. Ocoee had, somebody was smart in their council and said, we're going to keep our trees. So I like the trees. I like the slower growth over here. The lakes that we used to have access to, we don't have access to anymore. The subdivisions have grown up around all the really good local spots, and it's all the way through the county and the outlying counties, where you used to be able to get on a bicycle and ride to a lake and swim in it. Nobody's saying anything. Now you can't even find those lakes because of all the houses that have built up all the way around them. They've cut off total access to a lot of the great spots that we used to go to when we were younger. There's still some water that you can see. Some of it you can still get into. The lake, Stark Lake in Ocoee, here. Lake Apopka, if they ever get that cleaned up, and I think they will. They've made some really good progress in restoring that lake and stopping the pollution that was the big problem in the first place. So it may not be in my lifetime, maybe my daughter's, that they'll see that lake come back to what it was 50, 60 years ago. It was an actual bass fishing lake that was world known. Hemingway fished on that lake. So,
what's your earliest memory of Ocoee?
I used to roam around Pine Hills years ago, back in the day when gasoline was 25, 30 cents a gallon, and we would work on our cars on, all the guys would tear their engines out of their cars on the weekend, go out to Bithlo and drag race out of the strip out there. And when you weren't doing that, you were cruising. Well, a lot of drive-ins in the area. There was one off of Colonial in Pine Hills. There was another one on the other side of Ocoee. I don't know what the name of that was. It was over by the concrete plant. There was also another one over off of 441, almost like a little triangle with Ocoee and Pine Hills in the center of that. The one off of 441 was by another concrete plant, come to think of it. But they've torn all those down, and they have replaced the one in Winter Garden kind of with what they've done by Stark Lake. The city has film that they show every once in a while in the park. So, and I've seen a few of those. That's not quite as nostalgic as the drive-ins, but that's nice. A community thing. And they do strive to make the park around the lake a community effort, not one of these you have to be a member of a gated community to get into. So it still has that small town atmosphere to a certain extent. There's a lot of subdivisions going in everywhere that have these humongous walls. I feel like I'm in a rat trap, like a labyrinth, a maze of concrete walls, and here comes an iron gate. So, yeah, I'm not real keen on that, but so far Ocoee is doing pretty good on keeping large open areas for the residents. I like it over here.
And what do you think the future holds for Ocoee?
If Ocoee is smart and they don't allow massive subdivisions to come in and just take all the trees down, to force the ones that do come in to save the better trees and continue to put the roads in like they've been doing, and the parks that they've been putting in. The fire department, the police department, I've seen all of that grow and move in better places, and adding more of them. The schools have gotten bigger and better. They've added all kinds of, from what they were when I first came over here, which is almost like, it's almost like going from Little House on the Prairie to the Jetsons if you were to see the before and after of what we have in the school system now. And I put all that on the city. They've done a wonderful job on that. So if they keep going in that vein, I see a lot of good things happening here. They've got at one time, Clark Road, which is a main artery in the city now, dead-ended at White Road. Didn't go to Highway 50. Well, the Turnpike wasn't over here either. So now they've got Clark Road, 4-lane, goes all the way down to 50, Highway 50, and joins the Turnpike. So we've got the auto auction, which is huge for business. We've got West Oaks Mall, which when it first came in, I thought that's fantastic. I don't have to drive all the way out to Altamont Mall to shop. And when it first went in, it was great. It seemed like the mall owners cared about the community. Slowly but surely that went south. The owners didn't really care about what we thought about the way the mall should be handled, and a crowd came in that shouldn't have been there. They should have ran them off. They should have had some kind of dress code, something that would have kept them from wanting to come over there. They should have held a higher standard to the stores that they allowed to go into that mall, because it drew a crowd. You really didn't want your kids over there on a Friday or Saturday night. But that's gone away. It's closed. New owners have come in, and I'm hoping that the new owners listen to what we want and come in with, I think they want to. So if they do, if they come in, they were talking about making it a Class 1 or a Class A, I'm not exactly sure what that is because I can't find it on the internet, type of mall. If they do that, and it's like I think Mall Millennia is, then I see a lot of good things happening here. Oh, yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to share about Ocoee?
You know it had an airport at one time? Yeah.
Where was that?
It paralleled Silver Star Road, right across the street here from the library. Yep. You can even still see, if you look hard enough, where the trees are thinned out, where why wouldn't, you know, little single-engine planes would come in and land. I don't know what the original intent was. Maybe farmers, maybe even back when Hemingway was flying, coming in here. I don't know, but yeah, when I first moved into the area, not Ocoee, but Castleberry, they still, I believe the planes still landed over there. Yep. So there's been some strange changes over here. A lot of people don't know half this stuff anymore. You know, you tell them that and they're like, huh? Really? Oh yeah. We had our own local legend. We had a skunk monster. Some people call it a Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it. But that was right up Pine Hills Road between Hiawassee and Claricona. If you went up back in the late 60s, early 70s, there was still a lot of swampland out that way before everything started getting built up and draining it out. And yeah, a lot of people used to think they'd see this thing out there.
Really?
Oh yes. Yeah, it was a good place to go parking because you could scare your girlfriends. You know? But besides that, didn't have any lights. It was all dark out that way. The only big fear you really had was getting stuck in the sugar sand. The other thing that didn't have lights on it was Highway 50.
Wow.
Between here and Claremont, very few, if any, lights, traffic lights or house lights. And rock trucks used to come down Highway 50 just full bore. That stopped. But then again, Highway 50 is almost like a parking lot. It's like, oh, we're going to make more lanes, but we're going to add more traffic lights. Oh, instead of speeding everything up, they just slowed it back down. Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.